Hello everyone, welcome to another podcast episode. My name is The Star. I am The Star Crochet and I make and sell crochet and knit gifts for everyone. On this video I talk about things like what I've been up to, any new listings, any finished objects, and works in progresses, and that's about it for today's episode. Let's start with what I've been up to. So I did purchase a little bit more yarn and I did receive a little bit more yarn, but I have yet to do a yarn haul video because I am not ready to work with the new yarns that I have received yet. See all of this yarn back here in the corner of my room? I did rearrange my room, but this right here, it's all scrap yarn and I'm still working on all of it. And I was able to get through a couple of finished objects when it comes to working with the scrap yarn, but now I have all of this yarn that I have ordered / bought from Walmart, and I have yet to go through these 3 packages and the 2 cakes we see right there. But I will get there once I am done working with all of the scrap yarn because I just don't want a whole bunch, like a heaping pile full of scrap yarn. I want to get rid of that, and the best way I can do that is to make things like baby blankets and just other scrap yarn type of stuff. So that is what I've been up to. And now is any new listings. So let me scoot to the side here. This is my new listing. I have one new listing and it is of the women's socks, and they come in various colors like plum, banana, blueberry, watermelon, strawberry, and guava. And then there's like this this light brown with an orange, which is a wool blend of sock fiber, and then there's also this blue and green colorway, which is also, again, has wool in it. And then there's some yarn that I got from Hobie that I used for the women's socks, which I call it Fire when it comes to the listing. And that is all for the new listings, and I placed them for $20 per pair because they have been hand stitched with 1 weight DPNs, double pointed needles. And I do not have the men's socks up in a listing yet because I'm still making them. That is one of my works in progresses. Now we are at the finished objects. I do have a good bit of finished objects to show you guys. Let's start with the knitting finished object. I gotta grab my bag here. Okay, so it's not that full this time, the bag of finished objects, but I do also have 2 baby blankets made of scrap yarn beside the bag here that I couldn't fit in here. That's why I placed it on the side. But I want to start with this sock right here. This is one of the wool blend materials of yarn that I have used for this sock. This is a woman's sock size medium and is made with 1 weight yarn and knit with 1 weight DPNs, or size 1 DPNs. There we go. And so this is a woman's size medium sock, and then to prove I have finished the last pair of this colorway, here are the 2 socks beside each other, and this pair is a woman's size medium. The next finished object I have is a men's sock size large, and I have used a 3 weight yarn. And I have used, I think it is just a regular mandala cake. I think it's Groot, the colorway I used. It's strange, but it's really cool colors that it comes with. And I got it from Walmart. And so you can see the cuff right here. It has the knit to purl to effect all around. And then I did a vanilla sock throughout the remainder of it. And when it comes to this heel right here, the reason why it also looks ribbed is because whenever I worked on both sides continuously to create the heel, I have done just a regular knit stitch. And so, you know, working this way and then working that way and then this way and that way with the rounds or with the rows, it'll kind of give like a ribbed effect. But I just did a knit stitch throughout all of it, just like I did when it comes to this whole remainder of the sock. It's just I never had to flip it any other way. That's why it looks normal, vanilla. And then the next finished object I have is just a whole bunch of more scrap flowers. You see right here. And so I still do have the headbands that I have yet to unbox from Amazon, and it's It is not in that pile, but it is somewhere else, and I'll just, whenever I get to that project of the headbands with the flowers, I will, you know, open that box and work on it. But I will let you guys know whenever I have them as a finished object and as a new listing. That is all for what's inside the bag. The next part is the baby blankets. I have 2 scrap baby blankets that I have created. This is one, the bottom half, and then the top half. And this is how wide it is. It's pretty wide. And I use the waffle stitch when it comes to the pattern. And then on the back, the reason why I'm calling it a scrap blanket is because I have so many ends that I would need to weave in, but I thought about just selling it as without needing to weave in the ends to prove that it is a scrap blanket. All of these ends that you see. And I want it to be like a natural part of the blankets that I make because I feel it gives the authenticity of it being a true scrap blanket. And that is the first baby blanket that I have that have used scrap yarn. I have one more project after this when it comes to working with the scrap yarn, but that'll be in the works in progress section. This blanket right here, yeah, you can see all of the ends right here. This is not the right side, this is the wrong side. But I use the Bavarian stitch when it comes to this baby blanket. And you can see how beautiful it is. I love this stitch. It's really time consuming when it comes to making this type of blanket, but I just love the way it looks. And that is the second baby blanket that I have made with the scrap yarn. And that is the last blanket I've made with the scrap yarn. I do want to make them as listings, but I have not got around to it yet because I did make the women's socks as a listing, and that took quite some time as well. And that is all for the finished objects. And when it comes to the works in progresses, I have quite a bit. I want to start with what's on my knitting needles. So what is on my knitting needles is this whole bag of a project. I don't have any knitting projects when it comes to the 1-weight yarn, but I do for the 3-weight yarn. And this is the next men's sock, size large, original pattern. I used the ribbing of the cuff, and then it's going to be a vanilla sock all the way through, but I did finish the heel, and now I wanted to make sure this was a spare needle here and I wasn't taking out any stitches whenever I pulled the needle through. But this is the way it looks so far when the heel has been completed, and now is the gusset section. The next work in progress I have is what is on my hook, and I'm trying to locate my hook here. Okay, so this is my hook. I don't have it on anything right now, but what I am working on is a scrap version of an octopus. I am in the works of creating my own pattern for the octopus, so I have a whole bunch of these long stripes right here when it comes to the outer tentacles, like the upper part of the tentacles, not the bottom where the suction cups are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I need 8. And then when it comes to this section right here, this is where the suction cups would be. And so I used the yarn that I'm using for the top portion of the legs, the 8 legs. I'm using the color of the outside of the octopus as the suction cup colors. So this is one of the strands. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And all of this yarn that I'm using for this octopus is a size 4 weight yarn. And I'm using from this wheel of yarn that I have spun. Not that I've spun, sorry, that I wound up into, like, from the yarn ball winder. I bought this from Walmart. It is Red Heart dots, something like that. And then I'm also using this yarn right here. This is the I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby. And that is all I have for the octopus project. And then the next work in progress I have is a little bit of floss tube I'm going to include. I have completed now 3 colors when it comes to the picture. And I'm going to show you guys how far I am. And remember, this is a stamped cross-stitch kit, and so everything you see on here is the way it's supposed to go. And so it's going to be like a dream catcher with roses on it, like pink and purple roses. And let's see, I have finished, I think it's black to be honest, not like a super, well, navy blue. I mean, you can tell right here, I guess, right? But all of this right here, the dark blue, and then I finished the dark, like a brown or a purple right here and all along the others. And then the third color is this pink that you see I have stitched in right here. And then all throughout here and then here. And then my next color I'm going to want to work on is going to be the blue, like the cobalt blue color. So I'll show you guys this part right here where it says 26. And then all of the blue sections I will be working on as my next color. And that is pretty much it for today's podcast episode. If you have made it this far in the video, please subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell so you're always notified of all the videos I make. Check out my social media such as TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and also like this video if you liked this video. Also check out my Patreon and my website. On my Patreon, I now just have one tier, and it is just the stars, and it's worth checking out. You get a discount code to use, a promo code for if you order from my website, thestarcrochet.com, or my Etsy, which is thestarcrochetshop.etsy.com, but everything is listed in the description box below. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!